Barcelona, one of the most visited and visually captivating cities in the world, is taking a major step to change how it handles mass tourism, particularly from cruise ships. Known for its breathtaking architecture, Mediterranean beaches, and vibrant cultural life, the city has long been a magnet for global travelers. But in recent years, the overwhelming flow of tourists, especially those arriving by sea, has begun to take its toll. In a move that has stirred international attention, the city government, in partnership with its port authority, has announced a bold plan to reduce cruise ship capacity at its harbor. This initiative will involve cutting down the number of cruise terminals from 7 to 5 by the year 2030, which will result in a reduction in the number of daily cruise passengers from 37,000 to 31,000. Barcelona currently hosts one of the busiest cruise ports in the world. In 2024 alone, the city received approximately 3.65 million cruise passengers, reflecting a 20% increase since 2018. While tourism has undeniably fueled Barcelona's economy, supporting jobs, businesses, and the city's global brand, it has also triggered growing concerns among residents. The sharp rise in short-term visitors has been blamed for skyrocketing housing prices, overcrowded public spaces, and the gradual erosion of the character of traditional neighborhoods. What used to be charming local areas are increasingly filled with souvenir shops, short-term rental apartments, and tourists snapping photos, leaving many locals feeling displaced in their own city. Mayor Jaume Collboni described this new cruise regulation as a historic decision. For the first time, concrete limits are being placed on the growth of the cruise industry within Barcelona's borders. According to the mayor, this is not an anti-tourist move, but an attempt to find a more sustainable balance between welcoming visitors and protecting the quality of life for the people who call the city home. The planned changes include the demolition of 3 current terminals, the construction of a new, more efficient one, and an investment of €185 million. These infrastructure adjustments are part of a broader shift that started back in 2018, when Barcelona first began evaluating the environmental and social costs of its massive tourist flows. This isn't happening in isolation. Across Europe, cities that have become tourism powerhouses are reevaluating how much is too much. Venice, Italy, for instance, has introduced charges for day visitors and restricted the size of cruise ships entering its historic canals. Greece is implementing new taxes on cruise ships that dock at its islands, hoping to minimize environmental damage and distribute tourism more evenly. In Barcelona, the issue has reached a boiling point. Protests by local groups have grown louder, demanding limits on short-term rentals and calling out the negative impact of mass tourism. Last year, the city announced a plan to eliminate about 10,000 tourist apartments by 2028, a move aimed at bringing more housing back into the hands of residents and curbing speculative rental markets. Despite the economic benefits tourism brings, many locals argue that the costs have started to outweigh the gains. The cruise industry, in particular, is often singled out. While cruise passengers do spend money, studies suggest they spend far less per person than overnight visitors. Moreover, their visits are often short and concentrated, overwhelming certain hotspots like La Rambla, the Gothic Quarter, and the area around the Sagrada Familia Basilica. Critics also point to the environmental footprint of cruise ships. These massive vessels contribute significantly to air pollution, emitting large quantities of nitrogen oxides, sulfur dioxide, and carbon dioxide, especially when docked and running engines to supply power. The visual of enormous cruise ships looming over the city's coastline has become a symbol of the tourism problem. To some, these ships represent economic opportunity. To others, they are floating cities that dump thousands of people into delicate urban ecosystems every day. For Barcelona's administration, the challenge is striking a balance between tourism and livability. The new plan aims to reduce daily volumes without cutting the industry off completely. By consolidating terminals and managing arrival schedules, officials hope to smooth out the peaks of overcrowding and give the city room to breathe. It's also about long-term sustainability. City leaders are framing this move as part of a broader vision to transition toward a cleaner, greener future. Barcelona has already introduced low-emission zones for vehicles, expanded public transportation, and encouraged cycling and walking through better infrastructure. By limiting cruise traffic, the city reduces the need for large-scale ground transportation surges that accompany ship arrivals like tour buses and taxis. and lowers the pressure on public services like sanitation and police. This transformation won't happen overnight. The infrastructure changes are set to be completed by 2030, and the process will be gradual. However, the direction is clear. Barcelona is no longer just reacting to tourism, it's actively shaping the way it wants visitors to experience the city. The message is that tourism is welcome, but not at any cost. Residents must feel prioritized. Their neighborhoods, traditions, and access to affordable housing should not be sacrificed in the name of economic growth. What's unfolding now is a test of whether a city built on tourism can reinvent itself in a way that's more sustainable, inclusive, and resilient. For tourists, this means future visits to Barcelona might look and feel a little different. Cruise passengers might have to plan further ahead, book more regulated tours, or adjust to more restricted access. But ultimately, this could enhance the visitor experience too. A less crowded, more preserved Barcelona offers richer, more authentic encounters with its culture and people. Slowing down the flow might help everyone, tourists and locals alike, rediscover the essence of what makes the city so beloved in the first place. This move by Barcelona may become a model for other global cities facing similar pressures. As tourism numbers rise worldwide and concerns about environmental and cultural impacts grow louder, the Barcelona example shows that cities don't have to be passive hosts. They can take charge of their future, set boundaries, and still thrive as world-class destinations. What's happening now could shape the next decade of travel, not just in Spain, but across the world.